Isn't it curious how certain thoughts, certain circumstances seem to arrive just when you need them most? You may not have been searching, yet suddenly something appears. A thought, a feeling, a shift in the air, and it feels as though it was waiting for you all along. Life has this peculiar rhythm. Nothing comes too early. Nothing comes too late. Everything, even this very moment, arrives exactly on time. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger, heard a word or a phrase, and felt a wave of recognition? Or perhaps you stumbled across an old book and opened it to the exact page you needed to read. It's as if, for a brief moment, the universe whispers to you, "Here, this is for you." It's not luck, not coincidence. It's the unfolding of the pattern, revealing itself in subtle yet profound ways. In the East, they call this Tao, the way things move, when we stop forcing them. In India, it is called Leela, the divine play. But whatever you call it, the experience is the same. Life presents you with exactly what you need when you're ready. But here's the twist. Readiness isn't something you can force. It's a state of being open, of stepping into the flow of life without resistance, without expectation. Think of it like this. A flower doesn't force itself to bloom. It waits for the sun to rise, for the soil to be just right, and so, too, does the wisdom you seek. It arrives when the timing is right, not a moment sooner, not a moment later. Yet how often do we feel the impulse to rush to demand that life deliver the answers now? On our terms, on our schedule. But life is not an answer to be solved. It's a rhythm to be felt, a melody to be followed. And when we stop grasping, stop trying to orchestrate it all ourselves, we begin to hear it more clearly. You've likely had moments when something unexpected happened, and you thought, how extraordinary, how lucky. But in those moments, have you ever paused to wonder, what if it wasn't luck? What if it was simply the alignment of things? The universe speaking to me, telling me I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. This is what we call coincidence, but is it really? Or is it just the moment when you are finally open enough to receive the message that's been waiting for you all along? When the timing is right. When you're ready, the door swings open with no effort from you. And sometimes, all it takes is a pause, a breath, a moment of quiet, for that door to appear, not because life has suddenly decided to intervene, but because you've finally relaxed enough to notice that the door was always there, waiting for you to walk through it. So, I invite you to consider this. What if life isn't something you have to control, but something you simply need to align with? Life is always on time, and when you stop rushing to get there, you realize that you were never behind. You were always moving exactly as you must, in rhythm with the dance of the universe. We often think of life as a puzzle that needs solving, as a machine that must be engineered with precision. We believe that if we just apply enough effort, if we push hard enough, we can force things to unfold exactly as we desire. And so, we strain against the current, fighting for control, trying to predict the next step, the next answer. But what if life is not a machine at all? What if it is a dance? A fluid rhythm that we must move with, not against. In a dance, there is no map, no script. The next step is not determined by logic or calculation, but by the beat of the music, by the flow of energy between the dancers. And if you try to control it too tightly, to impose your will on every movement, the dance becomes rigid, awkward. The beauty of it gets lost. But when you surrender to the rhythm, when you let go of the need to control every step, the dance becomes effortless. Your movements are no longer forced. They flow naturally, like water moving around stones. And here's the paradox. The more we resist life's natural rhythm, the more we struggle to keep control. the more we miss the magic of what's unfolding right in front of us. Think about the times in your life when you felt the most off course, the moments that seemed like interruptions, setbacks, or failures. How often have you looked back and realized, with surprising clarity, that those were the very moments that led you to where you are now? Perhaps you lost a job and thought it was the end. Perhaps a relationship ended, or a plan fell apart. At the time, it felt like a mistake, like life had thrown you off track. But looking back, you now see how each of those moments was a doorway. Ach Detour. Each failure, each unexpected turn in the road was leading you exactly where you needed to go. It was not a mistake. It was the rhythm of life pulling you in the right direction. Even if you couldn't see it at the time, the mind resists this. It wants certainty. It wants predictability. It clings to the illusion of control, thinking that if it can just map out the future, it will find peace. But peace doesn't come from controlling the dance. It comes from surrendering to it. The moment we stop trying to choreograph every step, life begins to unfold in its own way, with its own timing, often in ways we could never have planned. What if the very thing you're struggling against is the thing that's trying to teach you the most? What if the uncertainty, the discomfort, the apparent chaos is not an obstacle, but an invitation to trust? Trust that you are exactly where you need to be. Trust that the rhythm of life is carrying you forward. Even if you can't see the next step, life is not a series of problems to be solved. It is a dance to be experienced. And so, as you move through this moment, through the next moment, and the one after that, I invite you to listen to the music. Let go of the urge to control. Let go of the anxiety that tells you life is a race you have to win. Instead, let the dance guide you, step by step, in rhythm with the universe. There is a strange freedom in this, a freedom that comes from knowing that you are not out of step. You are exactly where you must be, moving with the flow of life, not against it. We live in a world that thrives on certainty. We crave it like air, an illusion of control, a promise that if we follow the right steps, if we make the right decisions, life will unfold predictably, like a well-organized blueprint. We think that certainty is the key to peace, that once we know what's next, once we have all the answers, we can finally rest. But here's the truth. Certainty is the very thing that blocks discovery. To demand certainty from life is to lock yourself in a box and miss the vastness of everything outside. Uncertainty, on the other hand, is where life happens. It's the space where transformation is born. Think of it as the blank canvas before the first stroke, the dark sky before the first light of dawn. It is in uncertainty that we find the deepest possibilities, yet our minds resist it. We are trained to fear uncertainty, to view it as a threat, as something dangerous that must be avoided at all costs. But what if we changed our perspective? What if we began to trust uncertainty, to see it not as chaos, but as an invitation to grow, to expand, to experience life in a way we could never plan for? When we stop demanding certainty from life, we begin to see the magic of it unfolding effortlessly, naturally. Life doesn't need our micromanagement. It doesn't need us to figure it all out. It moves in its own rhythm, like the changing seasons, like the tides of the ocean. When we align ourselves with that rhythm, when we stop resisting what is and simply trust the process, we open ourselves to a deeper wisdom that transcends the grasping mind. This isn't to say that life will be smooth sailing. It will be full of moments that challenge us, that shake us up, that throw us off course. But even in those moments, there is a beauty, a rhythm, if we choose to see it. The person who is at peace with uncertainty is not someone who avoids challenges, but someone who understands that challenges are not problems, but opportunities to learn, to grow, to step into the unknown with curiosity and trust. The next time you face a moment of uncertainty, instead of rushing to figure it out, pause, breathe. Ask yourself, what if this is exactly what I need right now? What if this uncertainty is the space where the next step will reveal itself? In that moment of trust, you let go of the need to control the outcome. You release the pressure to have all the answers, to know what's next. And in that letting go, you create the space for life to show you the way. You see, the greatest wisdom doesn't come from knowing the answers. It comes from the courage to step forward without knowing, trusting that what you need will come at the right time. The beauty of life is not in the certainty we cling to, but in the flow of uncertainty that invites us to dance. When we stop trying to control, we find that the universe is already conspiring in our favor. Every twist, every turn, every moment of unpredictability is part of the greater process, part of the beautiful mystery of life that we cannot fully grasp, but that we can trust, if only we let go. Have you ever felt that quiet anxiety, that nagging sensation that you're behind in life, that somehow you've missed a moment, missed an opportunity, missed the chance to get it right? Perhaps you're comparing yourself to others, looking at their progress, their achievements, and feeling as though you're falling short. There's a subtle pressure that tells you time is running out, that you need to catch up, that your life must look a certain way, by a certain time, or else you failed. But let me ask you this, what if you could stop imagining you're behind? What if the very thought of missing the moment is the illusion itself? You see, life is not a race. It is not a straight path with a finish line waiting for you at the end. There is no timeline that you must follow, no arbitrary destination you must reach. The feeling of being late or behind only arises when we subscribe to the false belief that there is some ideal place. We must be some perfect version of ourselves that we must hurry toward. In truth, life unfolds exactly as it must. And you, right now, are exactly where you need to be. Have you ever looked back at a time in your life when everything felt uncertain, when things didn't seem to be going as planned, only to later realize how necessary those moments were for your growth? Perhaps the job you didn't get, the relationship that ended, or the path that didn't lead, where you thought it would. All of these moments, though difficult at the time, were not failures. They were simply steps in the rhythm of your life, guiding you toward a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. There's a great mercy in this realization. You cannot truly miss what is meant for you. Life doesn't work on a strict schedule. The tides don't rise once and never return. They come again, and again, and again, until you are ready to catch the wave. This is the mercy of existence. It waits patiently for you. It does not abandon you if you don't notice the opportunities in the moment. They will come again, in different forms, at different times, until you are open enough to see them. But notice this paradox: when we believe we are behind, we begin to rush. We push forward, ignoring the beauty and lessons of the present moment. And in our rush, we miss the very thing we're chasing. What if, instead of pushing ahead, you simply stopped and took a deep breath? What if, instead of striving to get somewhere, you allowed yourself to be exactly where you are? What if you could embrace the present moment without the constant pressure to be somewhere else? The secret is this: you are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be, unfolding at your own pace. The universe doesn't measure you against anyone else's journey. It doesn't compare your path to someone else's success. Your life is your own, and it is unfolding exactly as it should, step by step, moment by moment. The rhythm of your life is perfectly in tune, even if you can't see the full pattern yet. And so, I ask you to release the illusion that you are behind, that you've missed the boat. Life's rhythm never abandons you. It never passes you by. It only waits for you to notice, to trust, to breathe into the present moment. The next step will come when you're ready for it. Until then, rest assured you are right on time. We spend much of our lives looking for something outside of ourselves, a solution, an answer, a breakthrough. We search for signs, for certainty, for proof that we're on the right path. We rush through moments, thinking the next one will be the one that finally gives us what we need. But here's the thing, what you seek, what you long for, is already present. It's always been here, woven into the fabric of your life, waiting patiently for you to notice. What if, instead of searching for something out there, you turned inward? What if you stopped looking for answers and allowed the answer to find you? You see, so much of our suffering comes from the belief that something is missing, that we are incomplete, that we need to become someone else or achieve something more to finally feel whole. But in truth, the moment you let go of the chase, the moment you stop looking for something to fix, you discover that everything you need is right here. In the quiet of this moment, it's easy to overlook the simplicity of the present. We're taught to look ahead, to plan, to predict, to chase after what we think will fulfill us. But life doesn't unfold in the future. It unfolds right now. Every moment, every breath, every heartbeat is a whisper from existence, telling you that everything is already whole. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need to wait for the perfect condition. You are already complete. This moment, this very moment, holds everything you've been searching for. The beauty you seek isn't out there, waiting to be found. It's here, in the richness of now. It's in the way the sunlight filters through the trees, in the sound of laughter, in the quiet space between thoughts. Life is already full, already perfect in its imperfection, already unfolding in its own time. And the only thing you need to do is show up, be present. Think about the times when you've had a moment of clarity, a flash of understanding. Was it the result of chasing after answers or of simply being still, of pausing and allowing life to speak to you? The most profound insights often come in the simplest moments, when you're not trying to force them, when you're not struggling to make sense of them. The answers you seek are like whispers, soft and subtle, but they cannot be heard if you're constantly distracted, constantly chasing what's next. So, I invite you to stop for a moment. Take a deep breath. Feel your body. Feel the space around you. Notice the present moment, just as it is. Life isn't something you need to conquer or solve. It's a mystery to be lived. And the moment you stop trying to solve it, the moment you stop looking for something to change, you will discover that everything is already here. The answer was always here, waiting for you to open your eyes, to wake up to the beauty of the present. You don't need to force the answers. You don't need to race toward the next step. Life is already unfolding, and you are part of that unfolding. When you relax into the present, when you embrace the mystery, you will begin to see that what you need has always been available to you. It was never missing. It was only waiting for you to stop, breathe, and notice the profound richness of this very moment.